Because you know why? He's a Frankenstein's monster. Ugh, he's grotesque.
He's so grotesque.
This is part of the lore now, is that we have Frankenstein monsters fighting in the U.S. Army.
Boy, this is always a challenge.
It's always hunting season.
And then it's always hunting season.
Before I go off duty, Mr. Haskell, I thought you should know about a party that came in the East Gate this morning.
Suspicious-looking bunch?
Well, they sure looked weird. Rough-looking man, woman with a cape, some old fella looked like a warmed-over zombie, and a kid.
I'll have the boys keep an eye out for them. We caught a wild-looking crowd like that last year trying to break into the inn. What kind of a card they have?
Fancy hot rod. All hopped up.
I'll put the word out. Might be a new kind of middle-aged juvenile delinquent.
Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Munster Hunters, the only show that dares to shun millions, nay billions, nay trillions of hours of original streaming content that is literally being released on what feels like an hourly basis across 50 different networks, all to revisit a nearly 60-year-old sitcom about a Frankenstein monster and his grotesque family. My name is Derek, and I am indeed a Munster Hunter. Joining me, as he always does, across the aisle, the Frankenstein head aisle. I don't remember what we called it, but there he is, Keith.
Hey, my name is Keith, and I'm a middle-aged juvenile delinquent.
Yes, he is. I've known him for a long time. He is indeed middle-aged. And joining us, as always, from the geographical center of the United States, maybe even geological center of the United States. I don't know what comes out of Kansas, but it's Terry, the Dr. Dre of Kansas.
Hello, yeah, I'm a Munster Hunter, and I've got a call that I need to answer.
Call.
It's a wild call.
The call for... I don't know.
The call for
we're in Top Gun season, so the need for speed.
Mm-hmm.
The call for
wild
ball. I don't know.
There's something there.
Crawl.
Yeah.
The
call for gall.
The call for crawl.
That's
I
right.
have no idea. I was
That's
just
more
trying
my
to
lifestyle,
be
anyways.
punchy and rhymey and funny, but man,
yeah, I think that's accurate. I do have the call for crawl. That's about the speed I go.
Nice. Gentlemen, how are we this week?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. So far, so good, you know. Got to squeeze in my Munsters fix every once in a while. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very happy to see actual, real, live Munsters as opposed to the animated ones.
Oh,
Yes,
thank God.
Thank the Lord.
I don't know who came up with that idea.
And then also, at the end of this episode, this is the 16th episode of the first season, we'll be at the geographical center of the season.
That's right.
All right.
Geographical center.
16 behind us and 16 ahead of the first season.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It feels like we finally feel like we're accomplishing something.
Yeah. You know, up until now, my life is pretty empty. Now,
Yeah.
and now it's full of Munster mayhem, madness, excitement.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah.
No. And you're younger than us, Terry. So, wow, you know, like when they say this is the first day of the rest of your life, you got a lot more ahead of you, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm jealous. You've been able to fill up your need in life with the Munsters. Derek and I didn't discover this till much later in life, obviously.
Yeah.
It's really actually it's an interesting development. I feel like I age about 2 months every time I watch an episode. So I'm actually catching up to you guys, I think.
Well, you learn about all these TV shows from like the 80s and all and 70s, 80s that Derek and I are very familiar with. And so like you start learning about those, and it's like you are adding a few months because you're just accumulating all this knowledge of time, far before you.
Yes, the land before time, as they say.
You're like an old soul.
Yes. That's right. Yeah. My soul
regaling your friends with tales of Munsters.
That's right.
So here's a question. So since you are You hang, I assume, with a younger crowd as well. Have any of them, like, when you tell them that you're watching this, nearly 60-year-old TV show, they go like, what are you doing?
They seem to think they like the Munsters, so I don't know. Yeah, I was like, well, on our show, we don't really.
They seem to think they like the Munsters.
I don't think any of them have revisited it in, like, years, but, I think they caught them on, like, TV Land or something back in the day, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's a great show. I was like, well, it's got its moments, I guess,
Yeah.
I got a show where recaps of it are much better than the actual episodes. So.
Yes.
And much longer, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
if you're looking to fill a solid 90 minutes of Munster talk about one single 20-minute episode, look no further.
Yeah. And it's also, how I said I feel like 2 months older every time, but if you listen to the episode afterwards, it actually reverse ages you. So you're back to where you started.
By 2 months, you're back to even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't watch the episode, but just listen, you'd already be 30 months younger.
Yeah. If you binge them.
32.
Yeah. It might not be too
Considering
late.
the animated debacle that was last
God,
week.
that added like 2 years to my life, I think. Or it took it away. I didn't gain anything from that.
You could. There was no recouping it after that.
Nope.
That was a palate cleanser. Is our palates been cleansed or no?
My palate was scorched with acid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think my sense of taste in television is just gone now. Anything looks great after that. Yeah.
That's a COVID symptom, isn't it? I think.
Oh yeah.
Loss of taste.
Could be.
Yeah. Now are you sick with COVID or did you watch many Munsters? That's what the doctors asked me when I went in.
Oh, yeah, that's on the questionnaire. Yeah. Have you or anyone you've been in close contact with watched many Munsters in the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, you're fine. Just go home.
The priest comes out, throws some holy water on you. May God have mercy on your soul. And then you're able to go in. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we can't just dive into this masterpiece called The Wild. We got something we got to do. So I've lit a candle. I've got it in my hand. I'm going to go down the dirty, dusty stone hallway. I'm assuming it's a stone hallway, like one of those archway ones.
Oh, yeah.
Creaking open the gate, blowing off the cobwebs. There's a spooky, spooky bookshelf filled with spooky, spooky books.
Ooh, what else is on there?
Well, I just said spooky, spooky books, but there's a skull, and there's like a shrunken head in a jar.
An old telephone book.
An old telephone book. Yep, that's on. Oh,
yeah.
You want to know which spooky books are on there?
That's just a handful. What else is on
there? There is that cookbook that every human being owned in the 80s. It's red and white. It's Betty Crocker's something. It's like it looks like a picnic tablecloth.
Yeah.
And it folds open. It's like a 3-ring binder, so you can like open it up and pull the recipes out and stuff like that. That's on there for sure.
That's
There's a My Diary, which was purchased from a Scholastic book fair, but never written in.
Oh no,
that's plenty of those. Yeah.
That's the saddest story ever told.
Yeah,
My Diary bought from Scholastic, never used.
And then,
shine the light over there, Derek. I think that is novelization of Spaceballs.
Novelization of Spaceballs, of course it is. And next to the novelization of E.T., right above the novelization of Romancing the Stone. They're all there.
That's a pretty good movie. That's
all your favorites. I know it is, right? But the centerpiece, sitting on the pedestal under a glass dome, let me lift up that glass dome, is the Munster Hunters Almanac. And I'm presenting to Keith, Alter style, for the Munster Hunters Almanac factoid, fact, tidbit, sheet, snippet, psalm of the week.
All right, we're going to open to Grandpa book 713.
Grandpa 713.
Yeah, Grandpa 713. Grandpa's Bella Gente Italian restaurant.
Wait,
I'm excited already.
Yeah. This is amazing.
So after obviously a long time being done with the Munsters, Al Lewis continued to hold on as being Grandpa Munster for as long as he could. And from 1987 to 1993, you could find, it says, this quote says, the tall, affable Lewis, once a basketball star at Thomas Jefferson High School in East New York, in a restaurant he opened, and it was in Bleecker and Leroy Streets, probably right next to the Sanctum Sanctorum. It's Grandpa's Bella Gente Italian. He played up the whole Munsters thing, letting diners and passersby on the corner address him as Grandpa. It did eventually have to close.
No!
Let's see. Found an article from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch in November of 1987. TV's Grandpa in the face on the village window. The logo was actually drawn up by Fred Gwynn, and it's a like drawing of a side view of Al Lewis as Grandpa, Grandpa Munster. Lewis, 77 at the time that the restaurant opened. He seats and chats with all the patrons 6 nights a week. He says they use the best ingredients possible, the freshest, and we have the best chefs. I don't have cooks, I have chefs. Nice. He's apparently a meticulous eater and was 95% vegetarian for like 40 to 45 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And blood. That's what it's.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's the other 5%.
Fred Gwynn is.
Fred Gwynn's there 5%?
No, Fred Gwynn showed up every now and then, along with Beverly Owen. Also made it there, and Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick. He stopped by the restaurant at times. I looked up, was able to find the menu under appetizers: mozzarella buffalo con pomodoro. It's a little hard to read because there's a Al Lewis autograph on one part of it, and it kind of leaked through the paper. It looks on. Shrimps a la Grandpa. That's the only one that seems to have that on there. Marinated by our master chef in special sauce.
Oh,
yeah. You could get arugula and radicchio salad. They have a bunch of pizza. Bella Gente designer pizza, and one of them is the Munster pizza, but it's Munster cheese. It's capers, black olives, and Munster cheese. That sounds disgusting.
That sounds kind of good.
Yeah.
Capers are like little hard, salty flavored.
They are.
They're like little rocks.
Pizza Primavera.
Unless it's fish. Capers are fish?
Oh,
too,
are they
right?
fish?
Oh, that's even worse.
I bet they are fish.
I think so. No, they're little seeds, like little
seeds.
Yeah.
Pizza Al Fungi is a pizza with cultivated mushrooms on it. There's a Pizza Primavera that has zucchini, carrots, broccoli, and tomato.
Oh, interesting.
Pizza Al Formaggi?
Yeah.
Formaggi Blanca.
Okay.
It's
white with Italian with like garlic sauce.
Yeah, it's got gorgonzola, parsley, some other stuff on there. Let's see. Then they got just all the rest of your normal stuff. I'm looking to see if there's anything else that has Munster or anything in it, but for the most part, it is cannoli al forno, homemade cannoli stuffed with spinach and meat, and creamy red sauce. Gamberi a la Grandpa's favorite. Shrimps rolled in prosciutto, dipped in egg batter and cognac sauce.
Okay,
that sounds pretty good. There's just some basics there, and again, it was open until it was open for like 6 years there.
No, that's not too bad. I was kind of expecting it to be more gimmicky than it was. All it really seems like he's just playing into
like
the
a real Italian restaurant.
I really expected it like every Marilyn's something or other and Lily's something, all that whole thing. I kind of expected that, especially because it says, one of the things says that he really kind of leaned into the whole Munsters thing and stuff like that. But I guess it meant that he was like, hey, I'm here and I'll sign things as Grandpa and stuff like that.
Call me Grandpa.
Come get some Italian food. Call me Grandpa.
Yeah. So I was also, as I found this, I was looking around. I was hoping there'd be a cookbook too, but I did not see one. I wanted to see if there's anything else special or in there. So I will take the book and I will.
So just real quick, 252 Bleecker Street, which is where you said it was at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a 2-minute walk from 177 Bleecker Street, which is where Doctor Strange is at.
Nice.
Wow, that's very fitting. And Bleecker Street, that sounds like something straight out of the Munsters. That's where they live,
Oh, I bet you that's another reason he picked it specifically.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got space over here on Sunnydale. No. Got to be Bleecker.
Gloomy Lane.
Yeah.
Residential, so
Yeah.
we couldn't do anything with that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but now that we've had a full belly.
Yeah, you know what what they say? Once you fill up on your stomach, you gotta wait 30 minutes before you go swimming, but fuck that. We're going to the deep. On the boat, trolling out to the international waters, and we're gonna put on our scuba.
Take it easy. I ate too many of those grandpa shrimp.
Yeah, take a deep breath, suck in your gut, squeeze into that SCUMA gear because so much pasta.
It's gonna be a tight fit this
heavy
time.
cream sauce. It's tough to fit back in. Never go down to the depths of hell with Captain Terry for another SCUMA.
All right, so yeah, the episode we're talking about is Grandpa's Call of the Wild. It was directed by Earl No Strain Bellamy. He's back.
I knew that name was going to be awesome. I saw it. I'm like, that's right.
Yep, he's returned. He's known for that because he likes to have a nice, easygoing set. No strain needed. Making TV shows is hard enough, so why add anything to it,
For sure.
But, we mentioned him a couple times on the show. He did Tin Can Man, Herman the Great. Both episodes, I think we liked both of those a decent amount.
Enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Tin Can Man, for sure.
Oh, yeah. He's also got a few coming up. And I think he actually directed one of the Munsters movies that we'll probably end up watching eventually. So that'll be exciting. I'm sure we'll get there.
How dare you start throwing that around?
He was known for his work in the Western genre, and he even won the Golden Boot Award in 2002 from the Motion Picture Ad Television Fund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is
for Western movies?
Yeah, it's an award specifically honoring people for contributions to the genre. So,
the Golden Boot.
Yeah, the Golden Boot Award. Didn't know it existed, but good for him. That's awesome.
Golden Boot also sounds like some like Golden Corral knockoff, and it could be.
Yes, I'd go eat at the Golden Boot. That sounds like a bar, maybe. Yeah. This episode was written by Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher. We have spoken about these guys at length. They've written 29 episodes of the Munsters, so we'll be seeing them again. They also helped create Leave It to Beaver, which is probably their biggest claim to fame. Blah, blah, blah. We don't need to talk about it. We see these guys almost half the time we float down into the depths, so
yep.
Whatever.
You figure that their corpses would be skeletonized by now.
Nope.
They're not. They're hanging in there.
The energy that the Munsters gives them sustains them as well. So. We've got a couple guest stars. Once again, classic. Kind of just picked a couple guys that I felt like had the biggest roles. We got Ed Peck as Williard and Don Haggerty as Mr. Haskell. Ed Peck, he has 130 acting credits on IMDb, going from 1950 to 1983. He generally just, one-off roles on TV, but every once in a while he got to be like a returning character. He was an office clerk for all 10 episodes of The Super, which is about, a super that works at an apartment complex, and he's raising his teenage son.
He has superpowers?
Nope, it's just,
Superintendent. And that
Yep, classic sitcom. Yeah.
Missed opportunity there.
Huge missed opportunity. I bet there would be more than 10 episodes if they had done that.
Yes.
He was also in 4 of the 5 episodes of Semi-Tough, which starred David Hasselhoff.
As a superhero? A superhero known as Semi-Tough?
Yeah, what an intimidating superhero name. Look out, it's Semi-Tough.
Missed opportunity there again.
He's kind of tough sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, I'd even call him Semi-Tough.
I'll take those
That's
odds.
an origin story right there. And it's a newspaper article, and it so becomes a headline: "Semi-tough hero saves the day."
Hero or menace? Yeah.
Yep. Semi-tough. If he was fully tough, then he'd probably be more menace than him.
Yeah. It's actually about roommates who play pro football, and Ed, he played the coach. So
That's interesting.
He was also in a long-running show called Happy Days, where he was in 9 episodes as Police Officer Kirk.
Who's also a superhero?
I think he was trying to figure out the secret behind Semi-Tough.
Well, if he's not a superhero, that's a missed opportunity. That show will never succeed.
No, never. Yeah.
He was in one episode of Laverne and Shirley as Packer fan.
Oh,
nice.
It's the worst role he's ever played.
Yeah, well, we've also got Don Haggerty. He's got 210 acting credits on IMDb. He goes from 1946 to 2017. His credits are pretty similar. He's got minor roles in film, sometimes uncredited, a lot of one-off TV stuff. I was surprised to see that he was in 21 episodes of Death Valley Days, but played a different character every single time. It's apparently one of the longest Western series ever, and it was like originally a radio play or radio drama, whatever you want to call it. And there's like 452 episodes of that, so that's pretty impressive.
What if he was the same character every time? He was a shape-shifting superhero, like Nightcrawler.
Wow, he's just really on one of these guys being a superhero, huh?
It could be, he's some sort of body snatcher, like he crashed down from space and is taking over, like the Thing. Oh yeah,
he's an inhabit a new person every time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was in Bat Mastersons. Igor likes him.
Oh yeah, Igor's gonna love this guy. I was trying to look for like some more popular stuff that he was in, but of course I got distracted by something kind of weird. We like to talk about like sentient cars. I feel like on the show we brought it up several times. Herbie and all that.
Recently, yes.
Yeah, Turbo Teen, all this fun stuff. Well, what if your mom was a car?
Yep.
Because that's the show I found called My Mother the Car.
Oh, when they say like, hey, here's the name of a movie, and it asks you the question. So that's what this says. My mom the car asks the questions. What if your mom was a car?
Yes,
I love it.
It tries to tackle those deep, underlying layers and themes. Don Haggerty was only in 2 episodes, but
how many episodes are there altogether?
Oh, I think there's only like there's like 2 seasons
3.
actually. Yeah, that's semi decent.
30.
30, yeah. So it went on for a little bit. But I wanted to read the lyrics to the show intro to kind of give you guys a vibe of what it's about. So everybody knows in a second life, we all come back sooner or later, as anything from a pussycat to a man-eating alligator. Well, you may all think my story is more fiction than it's fact, but believe it or not, my mother dear decided she'd come back as a car. She's my very own guiding star. A 1928 Porter. That's my mother, dear, 'cause she helps me through everything I do, and I'm so glad she's near. My mother, the car. Beautiful.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, it was interesting. It seemed, I don't know really the logistics of how the mother came to possess the car. I don't know if she was like already dead and like decided to change her body or what. But
I don't think we actually need to know. It's just she's a car.
Yeah. I had to think that her superhero power was to transfer into a car.
to transfer her soul.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like a Turbo Teen thing. Maybe she literally transformed, melted her body down, and
she just couldn't figure out how to change back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an issue. It seems to be a common issue,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I saw a review of like a guy claiming he was the writer, and he says
claiming.
So it was on IMDb, and it was just like a guy who's like, "Hey, I was a writer for this show," and he admits that it was one of the worst sitcoms in the history of TV, but he's proud of the cult status that it's achieved. Yeah, so apparently it also airs on Mother's Day on TV Land every time. So nice.
Really, every Mother's Day you get that?
I guess so. Yeah.
Wow.
We can slowly rise our way back.
I'm already bobbing on the surface.
I got one more SCUMA thing.
Oh,
here.
we're diving back down. What's
Christ,
up?
Keith.
No, there's one more person guest in this episode, and it is Bing Russell. He plays the second ranger, and he is the father of Kurt Russell.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. I'm still bobbing on the surface.
Yep, that's all right, Derek. We'll pass the message up. Keith recorded it.
I heard
tone.
it.
Oh,
Keith did Morse code by tugging on the airline.
All right.
I'm like, oh, huh? Bing Russell. Mm-hmm. I'm writing it down. Father of Kurt Russell. Holy shit!
And Wyatt Russell's grandfather then.
Oh yeah,
oh, man,
that's true.
Makes sense.
It's weird how that works.
Who the hell's Wyatt Russell?
The guy who plays the bad Captain America in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he was originally up for the original Captain America role. He didn't get it.
Oh, he's an Overlord too, I think. The zombie World War II movie.
He is.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
He's a couple other things too, and I actually I like him in all stuff. He's in Under the Banner of Heaven, which I just started watching.
Nice. Yeah. I like the guy. He seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool indeed. Almost as cool as this episode. I had no way to segue a chord properly. But we are indeed. What?
I said that works.
Oh, okay. I think you said, of course. Like, here's a dig. It's like, don't make me come across this Frankenstein-headed aisle. I will do that. Roger Ebert style. Give you the reviewer's elbow.
Wait, did Robert Ebert do that?
Siskel and Ebert.
That was his finisher, Roger Ebert's finisher was the reviewer's elbow.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Gene Siskel had the bald-headed stunner. And
yeah, and then Roger Ebert off the top rope. Boom. Mm-hmm. It's over.
I always loved episodes when they disagreed. Not just like mildly disagreed, but they would get angry at one another. And
it's amazing. I've watched some clips of their reviews where they get just they're like yelling at each other
over film. Great. I understand, but man. All right, so we're talking about season 1, episode 16, Grandpa's Call of the Wild. Now I'm trying to remember. So last episode we watched the mini Munsters fiasco.
Yes.
The previous episode we liked, right? What was it called?
It was definitely better than the one before that, but what was that one?
I don't remember now.
It's all a blur here.
It is all a blur.
Grandpa leaves home. We were annoyed by that episode.
Oh, we hated that one. No, Herman's Rival was the last one.
Herman's Rival,
cousin Lester, yeah.
Cousin Lester had the greatest 3 minutes in the show's history so far.
Sorry, there's so many times Grandpa leaves. I can't keep up with it.
Right, so this one's Grandpa's Call of the Wild. So we had a reprieve from Grandpa, and now we're back to Grandpa's centered story. Its original air date, the first one of 1965, is January 7th, and it gets a somewhat lofty 7.6 on IMDb. Now the IMDb description I think gives away too much, so I took the one from Amazon. Herman decides to take the family on a camping trip. Perfect. That's what would have been in TV Guide.
That's all you need.
Yeah. That's all you need right there. And this one opens up with Herman. Well, there's a clanging at the front door, and Lily answers it. It's Herman. He forgot his keys. He was at work. He just got home. And there's some morgue jokes in there. Whatever. Eddie wants to go camping. He's in the front room waiting for Herman to get home to say, "Let's go camping, Pop." The kids were bragging about hunting and fishing in the woods, and Eddie only gets to go on picnics in the cemetery. Okay.
He's running through the house with a cleaver, by the way.
Is he? Well, man, leave it to Cleaver.
I missed that.
He knows what to do. So Lily says, "You know what? We could put up with some fresh air for Eddie's sake." And Herman's kind of jazzed for the idea. He said, "Let's do it this weekend. If work piles up, they could put it on ice." Another morgue joke. You're like, "Oh, okay." Or funeral home joke, I guess. But guess what? Marilyn has to stay home to study.
I was like, she's not even going to be in this issue.
Nope. But Grandpa will go. He loves to be close to the soil.
Of course. It's like, I think this is like hazing for Pat Priest. It's like,
yeah. Or maybe she just wasn't available. Who knows?
Yeah.
So Herman thinks they'll all enjoy it. And it's good for the Munsters to get out and meet nature face to face, which gets a laugh. And then Lily, for some reason, is holding flowers. Yeah. And Herman smells them, and they wilt.
Yeah. They die immediately. Yeah.
Yep. Then we get the banger, which still bangs and is still the same new order.
Ugh, yep. Still not
used to it. Are you guys used to it yet, or are you still
bangs so much that when Peacock says you can click skip, I don't skip.
Like, why would you? It's like trying to skip the opening to Peacemaker. Why would you do that?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like trying to skip through the theme of Barry, and it's only like 5 seconds long. I still love it.
Yeah, Barry or the Gary Shandling show.
Mm-hmm.
You don't skip those. You relish in them.
Oh yes.
DuckTales. Like,
woo!
I'm no fool. I'm gonna listen to this. So we come back. Herman, Lily, and Marilyn are heading out the front door, and Herman and Lily are like dressed for vacation.
Yes, Herman's wearing like a full hunter's garb. It's amazing.
I like that. He got the weird hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Two very different vacations, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Grandpa, Lily's like, "Oh, Grandpa and Eddie have already packed the car. They're going to bring it around." And when it pulls around, it's got a casket and skis. Like, I don't know what they're planning, but it's not camping.
No, yeah. I'm just happy to see this car show up, and they're actually going to drive around in it. This
They
seems like it's
loaded it
been
up with
forever.
stuff. They're going for a ride.
There's a casket. There's skis. Grandpa's electric chair, I think, is in there.
It's in there somewhere. I didn't see it, but it's in there.
Plus a tent and all the other like camping stuff. It's crazy.
They do something here now where they set up an entire B plot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't do anything with it. Because Marilyn's staying back, and they're like, "Well, make sure you don't. Hopefully, you won't be frightened all by yourself." And she's like, "In this friendly old house,
Hilarious.
And then they're like, "Make sure to feed Spot. Take care of Spot. This is very important. Take care of Spot." And then they're like, "Well, he practically feeds himself since he learned to open up the food with his fangs." You're like, okay. But Herman's like, no, keep an eye on him, because last time he ate the grandfather clock and he ticked for 8 days. Which I wrote ... Okay.
Yeah.
So the mysterious B plot is just you just want to see Marilyn trying to.
So this is it. We're set up. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till we cut back to see what Marilyn's doing with Spot. So now we see the Shadow Pine Park.
And by the way, I like my first thought was, oh, Marilyn's gonna have a house party. And like maybe they'll cut back and we'll get to see like Marilyn doing crazy stuff, like Spot escapes or something, like gets out during the party or something.
Something
with Spot. So we'll see that probably one more time before the commercial break, and then probably wrap it up somewhere in the second. I guess it would be the third act, the cold open first, and then third, and then maybe in the wrap up we'll hear about it. So I'm looking forward to those moments.
Oh, yeah.
It'd probably be great.
Oh, yeah, I would love a Spot episode.
We're at the Shadow Pine Park, the campgrounds, and the Rangers are checking in people at the campgrounds. Ranger 1, he looked familiar. He camped here before. Ranger 2, they all look the same. And then up pull the Munsters. They don't all look the same. Herman just silently hands over some cash. The guy says, "Here you go," and they drive off.
Yep.
Which I enjoyed this, and then the guy's like, 14 years in my park, I've never seen anything that looked like that. Like, and here's the thing, I guess the black and white takes away from it, because Herman had a hat on his head and a coat on
and goggles,
and he's just driving a weird car for sure.
Yeah,
but he didn't look strange.
I thought he looked a little weird. He looked like a steampunk or something.
Yes. But I guess without the skin color of that, it's lost in black and white. It doesn't look green, right?
That's true. Yeah.
He's just kind of a weird dude with his weird wife and a coffin in a souped up weird car.
We've seen him look a lot scarier. Yeah.
Yeah, a big weird dude before. Oh, so but they haven't seen anything like that in 14 years. I'm like, well, we got to report it to the boss. I can't remember what his name was, because they look suspicious. And then they said this. And I'm assuming this is something very topical that just flew right over my head. You don't think that was a UCLA debating team on tour, do you?
Yeah, that was. I'm like, what?
That's a very like, oh, those damn hippies.
Yep, kids these days.
Yeah, because this was pre-Summer of Love, right? So I think it was just starting to bubble, college campuses and weird
but also none of them look like college kids.
No, heavens no.
No, they all look incredibly old.
Yeah, they've got Grandpa.
I mean, Grandpa maybe looks like the professor of the UCLA college debate team, maybe. I don't know. But, like, overall, like, that's, like, a weird comment to make.
Yeah, I don't know. So now we got the Munsters setting up camp. And I really enjoyed this whole exchange here. Herman's pounding in the stakes to put at the tent. Grandpa, for some reason, brought his electric chair because it's sitting there, and he's sitting in it. Boy, what a weird thing to bring camping.
Yeah.
I love that. So, but then Grandpa goes, "Don't pound steaks when I'm around. You know how it gives me heartburn." And I was like, okay, because he's a vampire, right?
Yep.
He's pounded wooden stakes in the ground. Then Herman goes, "Oh, okay." So he just pushes them in with his finger, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Oddly, like pushing them with his fingers seemed a lot easier than hammering them in. So why did he hammer in the first place?
Very inefficient, but
he was
pushing with the finger.
He was having fun though. He was like giggling away as he hit the stakes. He's like,
So then Lily starts to criticize where Herman put the tent. You should have put it in the shade to take advantage of the gloom. Grandpa says, "Well, you should have said it earlier, woman." Right? Like it's just like, get off the big man's back. Like Grandpa, not up for it, but Herman's like, "Oh no, it's my fault. I'll take care of it." And I really enjoyed this. It went on way too long, but I really enjoyed this because instead of moving the tent, he gets up and moves a tree, pulls the tree out of the ground, which when they showed the shot up of the tree, it was like a redwood.
He
pulls it out of the ground. Very weak root structure. I'm surprised that tree hadn't fallen over on its own, because it's like it almost looked like a painted mop hanging out the bottom, just dangling there.
Yep.
So he pulls this tree out of the ground, and Lily's like, Herman moves it over by the tent. He's like, here, and Lily's like, no, maybe to the left. No, maybe to the right. Nope, back. Nope, forward. Nope, back. And then Herman is carrying a thousands of pounds tree, right? This thing is enormous. And he's just straining the look on his face, and finally she's like, okay, right there, which is right where it was initially he was going to put it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then he puts it in, he smushes it back into the dirt, and the tree clearly takes root again. An egg falls out of the tree under Herman's head.
Yes.
And he says, if there's anything I hate, it's a smart aleck robin.
What a weird... Yeah, he hates that, huh? Okay.
Also, they liked how they kept doing the little cutback to like a bird.
Yep.
Obviously not a bird in that tree. It's just a random shot of a bird. Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. I like the egg falling on his head.
And that whole little exchange was entertaining. I was like, that's pretty good.
Did you notice Grandpa in the background when they're moving moving the shade or whatever? Grandpa's hitting a ball with a tennis racket just constantly.
I
don't know what he was doing, but he's having the time of his life in the background, just bouncing this ball up and down while they're discussing.
This episode has some interesting background work in it from the main characters. We'll get to some in a minute. So then we cut to the ranger. He's telling Haskell, that's the boss, about a weird-looking bunch. A woman with a cape and some old fellow that looked like a warmed-over zombie. And a kid. That's what we watched, right?
I really wish you would have said, and some old fellow who looks like a penguin.
Yep.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah.
So we get to that, and that was the clip that we played up top. Yeah. For some reason, I'd forgot that I played that clip. So we get that, and then like, okay. Then we cut back to Eddie and Herman. They're going to go fishing, and Herman's going to teach Eddie how to cast. He's like, just reach back and let it rip. And so Herman cast it, and it goes. And
goes.
This one went way too long. And it goes. And it goes. They keep cutting to Herman's hands, and you see the crank on the reel spinning, and Herman, standing there, and it goes. 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 And it keeps going. And Herman gets us looking at his face like, smiling, giggling, and being a little scared, a little shocked. It just keeps going. It's going. And it literally had to be about a minute. I wish I would have timed it.
It was long. It was, yeah.
It was long. And then we cut to a couple of, I wrote schnooks because I know it's not a slur. So meanwhile, there's a couple of schnooks, and they're grilling at a campfire, and they have a cast iron pan full of fish on the campsite. We're like, well, it's almost ready. Let's go tell the girls. So they get up and leave. And then Herman's lure lands in the cast iron skillet with the fish. Love this. And then they cut back to Eddie and Herman. It's like, gee, Pop, I can't even see where I went. And reel it in and see what you got. Something. Herman's like, that was one of my weaker casts or something like that. I don't even know. So Herman starts reeling it in. And they cut back, and the hook snags one of the fish out of the campfire skillet, and they reels it in. Now, judging by the amount of time that lure flew, it had to be like a mile,
yes,
so far away. So
all the way to the other side of the lake. It's got to be a pretty big lake there.
So Herman reels in this freshly cooked fish. It didn't take him that long. And then he's like, wow, that's the neatest fish I've ever seen. It seems to already be cooked. And then Herman's like, oh, they must have a lot of hot springs around here. So it's not all soggy and damp and gross or eaten by other fish because it'd be pulled through the lake, right? Mm-hmm. Just a nice, freshly cooked fish.
There's no twigs sticking off of it or anything.
Yeah. And Herman's like, oh, I'm going to cast again. And he's like, how about over that way? And then we cut to Herman and Eddie coming back to the campfire. We're ready to eat. And Lily's like, oh, did you catch 3 more fish? I don't know how she knew about the other fish because they just cast it again. And Herman's like, even better. And he pulls up a still steaming barbecued chicken.
I like that too.
A nice rotisserie chicken ready
Yeah.
Yep.
And Lily's like, oh, barbecued chicken. And Grandpa's like, oh, it looks delicious. I'm like, okay. And then Herman's like, I knew the camp, whatever, they were stocking this lake, but this is the best fishing spot I've ever seen. Then Herman decides to go back because he's got the chicken. Now he's going to try for some dumplings.
Yep. And he laughs at his own joke.
Oh, God, he laughs really hard at that.
You know what? We always complain about how at the end they can't seem to like land a joke properly. This one, that's one step too far. Like the thing about, man, this is the best stocked lake I've seen in a while. That's a good line. Just move on from it. You don't have to. I'm gonna go get some dumplings now.
Yeah, the dumpling line was like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we cut to it's nighttime, and Eddie, for some reason, is going to bed. The moon is still up.
Yep. It's nighttime, and the Munsters are going to bed.
Yeah.
Is this a thing they do?
Yeah. Eddie's in his tent. You don't see him. He's behind closed tent, and Eddie goes, "Wake me up for thunder and lightning. I don't want to miss him." All right. So Lily's like, close up your sleeping big bag, and you hear a coffin close. Hilarious.
Yeah, which I guess I thought the coffin that was in the car was going to be for Grandpa, but
No,
it's
must be Eddie's.
It's actually for Eddie.
Yeah. So Eddie said, wake me up for any thunder and lightning. I don't want to miss him. He closes up his coffin. Lily walks 3 feet over to the campfire, and then it starts thundering and lightning.
And she doesn't go back to tell him.
Nope.
Nope.
And Eddie doesn't hear it. He must be
distracted
fell asleep
by
really fast.
distracted by very large marshmallows.
Yes. So, I forgot to mention background work. When Herman was casting and talking to Eddie, Lily was in the background doing stuff. I don't know what she was doing, but she was always in the shot, and she was like just moving stuff around on the table. It was making me laugh.
Gotta
All right,
keep her
so
busy, I
we
guess.
get back. Lily's at the campfire, sits next to Herman, and we immediately hear some thunder. And they're like, oh, it's a beautiful night. Hopefully the moon doesn't come out and spoil it. So Grandpa starts pining for the old days in the Black Forest. Right. Okay. And then Herman, level-headed as always, literally, says, Grandpa, you lived too much
Nice.
in the past. Grandpa says, I had a lot of friends at Transylvanians. Then a wolf howls.
And I think Herman says, Grandpa, that's your problem.
Yes.
Like really sings into him like, wait a minute, we're on a nice little camping trip. Where's this coming from?
Yeah, well, Grandpa's always talking about the old days. And Herman lets him know, I'm tired of it, old man.
Shut up, old man.
Get with the times.
Yep.
It's 1964, goddammit. Or wait, hold on. It's 1965, goddammit. I had to scroll to remember. So you're living in the past, old man. And Grandpa says he had a lot of friends in Transylvania. Then a wolf howls. He's like, there's one now. Okay. But then Lily says, this is America, and you can't go running around at night with a pack of good-for-nothings,
Yes.
which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And Herman says, last time you did that, he came back with muddy paws. Okay.
Yeah.
And Grandpa, rules. He's so upset. It's like, this is vacation, isn't it? I just want to go out one night to howl.
Yeah, he wants to hang out with the boys.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I need a boys' night out, and
Yep.
you squares are holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's like, this is vacation. I can actually get this. The man just stays around the house. He could go run around and howl whenever he wanted to. If he doesn't have a job or anything, he's not going to the parlor or anything during the day. He's just messing around with this, stuff in his lab.
Yep.
Yeah. Go get a little vacation at home up in the woods somewhere, and you could go do this all the time.
Yeah. He's got to win $1 million first, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's holding him back.
But then after we get that, we get another, and I just realized that I'm sitting here, that if this were a different era, Herman Munster is Peter Griffin, because he's like, the last time you ended up in Kansas City with that police dog, right?
Boom.
And then you see
we get a flashback.
cutaway to
yeah.
Grandpa, putting the moves on a police dog in Kansas City with some barbecue.
Oh, that was a weird line because there's like no context. I was just like, Okay,
Yeah.
I guess that's fun to imagine. I guess, but I wish.
Yep. But they do this a lot, right? Especially with Grandpa and his transformations. So,
Yep.
but Grandpa's, he's just homesick. And then Herman yawns. I'm going to go to bed because I want to get up in the morning bright and early to catch an omelet or a pizza or something, which I chuckled at that. But Herman and Lily, they're going to bed at night. Not very Munstery or 100% Munstery. I don't know.
Yeah, depends on the episode, I guess.
Yeah. But Grandpa, I'm going to stay up for a while, listen to the call of the wild. And the wolves keep howling, like a lot. Like to the point where if a normal person was in that campground, I think you'd be worried about wolves.
Yeah, it's time to leave. Yeah.
Yeah. But then Grandpa, he looks around and then he howls back, which was very. They didn't even try to make it look semi-real.
Yeah, it was a little goofy looking. Yeah, nice try. I thought he was gonna like make the noise himself.
Nope, it was a straight up just the howl, the recorded howl.
Yep,
and him lip syncing to it,
like the same howl we've heard over and over again already.
So then we come back from the commercial break, and Herman is asleep in his tent. His feet are out one end, and then his head is all the way on the other end, in a way which make you go, wow, Herman's 20 feet tall.
Yeah,
That was a very long tent.
It was. He's a big man. Yeah.
And then Lily comes running in, all concerned. And then I paused it. I didn't even see what happened next. Because then I wrote, Lily wakes him up all concerned because Grandpa is gone again.
He ran away. Yep.
This is 3 times in 4 episodes where Grandpa has left.
Yep.
And Lily is all concerned. And I'm just like, Jesus. They couldn't think of anything. Well, Grandpa never went to bed. His sleeping bag was still rolled up. And then Eddie comes out.
What about, wouldn't he like go hang from a tree or something?
Yeah.
And just get in a tent?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's all different. Yeah, we should be hanging upside down like Igor from a tree or whatever. Or just passed out.
Or like he does when he's at home. Like,
yeah,
hang upside down.
Yeah, he just sleeps upside down. You're right. But luckily, Eddie's got his radio with him. He's like, hey, I found a station. I didn't think I'd be able to get one out here. And it's rock and roll. Probably from the Mini Munsters.
Yeah, it could be Mini Munsters. This could be the inspiration for Mini Munsters.
But Herman and Lily, we just can't figure out where Grandpa's gone. We don't know what to do. And then there's a break in the radio. An important news flash.
Yep.
Wolf captured. Dateline 1965. Wolf captured outside of campground. Not any kind of wolf. Transylvania wolf, full grown. Officials are baffled. Herman rolls his eyes because he put 2 and 2 together and realized this is Grandpa. Eddie wants to go to the ranger station and pet Grandpa. I was like,
Did not save him, just pet him.
Oh, that was another part about the news break. Like park rangers have him at the park ranger station.
Yep.
We're gonna keep him right there. Like, oh, thank God this happened because we wouldn't have been able to know, couldn't have progressed plot in any way. So Eddie wants to go pet the ranger or pet the wolf at the ranger station or pet the ranger. Who knows?
Yeah.
Lily wants to know, what are we going to do? And then Herman, level-headed again, I'm going fishing.
Yeah, Herman does not care one bit that Grandpa's trapped and may never escape.
Yep.
It's on him, man. It's on him.
Yeah.
We told him not to do it.
Exactly. And he says this, he's a grown man, several hundreds of years old. If he can't control himself, he should join Werewolves Anonymous.
I guess
but he's not a werewolf.
Well, he turns into a Transylvanian wolf.
He does, but
he's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
He's an amalgamation of all things. So then Lily's like, fuck you, flathead. If you're not going to do anything, I will. So Lily runs off. And
I wish you would have actually said that to him. Fuck you, flathead.
Fuck you, flathead.
I'm gonna go get my father right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my father. She said that too. I'm like, well, no shit. We know it's Grandpa, and we know he's your father. So, but I think they said that there for the new viewer who might not understand the relationship, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
oh, that's my father. Because, well, we'll get there in a minute. Lily cruises off. Back at the ranger station. Well, no sign of the weirdos. Like, have you seen him? No, haven't seen him one bit. And then there's the rev of the Munster coach in the background. They're like, I think some jets are buzzing us again, which was weird. The need for speed.
Yeah.
Nope, it's Lily and the Munster coach. And they're like, look at that car. And there's something getting out of it. It's a woman. And it looks like she's still in her sleeping bag because Lily's got that big cloaky thing on that she wears. So Lily comes in to claim the wolf. Oh, he's your wolf? No, he's my father.
He's my father. I love that line.
They both the Rangers look at one another and like, he's out back. Let's go take a look. Like, at that moment, if you were the run the Rangers, would you be like, okay, and then you just dial 911 or whatever at the time.
Yeah. And as soon as she walks out ahead, the guy's like, "Did you hear her? She says father."
Yeah. It's whatever. So Lily's out there scolding the wolf. You change yourself back into a person. Drive me back to camp. Then the wolf whines. What do you mean you forgot how? And the two Rangers the whole time are listening to this whole conversation. They're like, and they're just letting it go. Mm-hmm. And they're like, man, let's see how this plays out. It's like the judge in a TV show. I'll allow it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see where this is going. You're on thin ice, counselor. So that's what's happening here. Rangers letting it go. You've been doing this for 200 years. And the Rangers, okay, they're done. They're like, okay. So Lily wants to take him. They say, nah, he's ours. And Lily's like, you would keep a father from his family or something like that. She basically calls them homewreckers. Yeah. And that's not very American of you.
But grandpas, I mean, they don't have time. This thing's headed out immediately.
Out tomorrow. So like, listen, our hands are tied. We caught this Transylvanian wolf. The New York City Zoo wants him. And he's going out tomorrow. And then the wolf whines loudly. And then Lily, very upset. I've never heard anything like this in all my lives. But Lily does this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to get my husband. I'm like, oh, okay. And then she storms off.
And she's, see you later. And she leaves.
Peace.
Yep.
Crazy old bat. So the head ranger says, why couldn't the Parks Department assign me to Squirrel Valley, where all of the nuts are up in the trees? Which I loved the idea of a Squirrel Valley park. It's just a park that's a valley just run rampant by squirrels. I love it.
I love that too. Yeah.
It's like that joke on the Simpsons where it's like, and they sent us to Monster Island. I thought it was just the name. It is. It's a peninsula, right? So that's what it kind of felt like to me. All right, Squirrel Valley. I love it.
That could be a spinoff. That could be another 1965 show, Squirrel Valley.
The Squirrel Valley.
Like a couple of Rangers.
All the nuts aren't in the trees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good tagline.
So now we get this point where Lily comes back.
Lily, you want me to go trespassing on government property and steal Grandpa? What do I look like, some kind of thug?
Herman, we've got to get him out of his cage tonight. Tomorrow they're shipping him off to the New York Zoo.
Yeah, you gotta get Grandpa. Some kids are always bragging about their grandpas in heaven. What are they gonna say when I tell them my grandpa's in the zoo?
Herman, forget your scruples. Think with your heart.
All right, Lily, I'll go. And I'll get the big dummy. I'll ruin my vacation, spoil Eddie's good time. I'll go get him. But I'll tell you one thing. From now on, the most dangerous thing Grandpa's going to turn into is a one-way street.
And then Herman gets up. He's stuck in the picnic table, and it destroys it. I shared this clip because it has possibly the best and the worst line in the entire episode. The best is Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
Says, kids are always bragging about their grandpas in heaven.
Yeah, they're bragging about that?
Constantly. Okay. Oh, wow, your grandpa's dead? Yep, he's in heaven.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, cool. What are they going to think when I tell my grandpa's in the zoo?
I'm so jealous.
I love that. I love it. I think that's a great... And then
that is good.
Herman says, the most dangerous thing Grandpa's going to turn into is a one-way street.
I don't know what that means exactly.
I don't get it. It must be something at the time, right? Like, oh, that guy's a real one-way street. I don't know.
You also have Lily saying, Herman, forget your scruples.
Forget your scruples. Think with your heart.
Mm-hmm. I like that line as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of good lines in that little clip there.
One-way street, though.
The one-way street, don't get it. So Herman,
what kind of thug? I love that.
Yeah, there's, it's also it might be the second time where we've come back to a scene where everything's getting rehashed, and then we see a reaction. Right.
Also, Herman really tries to lay on a guilt trip. Fine, I'll ruin my vacation. I'll ruin Eddie's good time.
I'll go get that big dummy.
I'll go break the law. Yeah,
I will break the law only for you, dear wife. That idiot father of yours, he can rot.
That's a one-way street.
That's a one-way street. Yep. Still don't get it. And we cut to the ranger station. The wolf is howling. Grandpa's out there howling. And the ranger goes, sounds almost human sometimes, doesn't it?
I like that line too.
Sure is. And they're wondering, they're like, you think that weird woman was associated with the weirdos from before? Like, oh, it's tourist season. You got to get used to these weirdos. And then we cut to Herman. He's out back. He's looking for Grandpa. And he like knocks over a garbage can or just makes a bunch of noise. Mm-hmm. And then the Rangers are like, well, what is it? They go out the back door and they see Herman lumbering off. It looked like Bigfoot, kind of.
It did, yes.
And the Ranger's like, oh, just one of those park bears looking for food. And he's a big one. So, go get a dishpan or something to pound on to scare him off. Yeah, they're all big babies. Which, like, okay, they don't know what they're getting into. I didn't know what was going to happen here.
I wish it would have been a Bigfoot thing. That would have been pretty funny.
Yes. I think it might predate that Bigfoot photo, right?
Oh, you might be right, yeah.
Yeah. So Herman is breaking Grandpa out of the cage. He's literally ripping off the padlock, which I always enjoy. He opens the cage. Grandpa gives him some licks. And Herman's like, Grandpa, please. I don't remember what he says exactly.
It's no time to get sloppy.
Yeah. So then they're just the pounding. It's clearly a spoon on a pan. And Herman's like, what's that? Herman gets scared. The Ranger comes up. He grabs Grandpa and then runs right through the picket fence that encloses the whole backyard area there.
Oh, I love seeing Herman like scoop up that wolf and just hold it as he runs away. That's amazing.
Yep. Holds like a football, basically, just takes off.
Yep. And then we get whatever I can't remember, Haskell or whatever was that his name?
Haskell and Mr. something.
Yeah. What's funny is Haskell is the last name of one of the people from Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
Eddie Haskell. So anyway, then Haskell, the main ranger, comes up. He's like, what happened? And then we get the retelling. I was there, and then you see the bear. Yeah. And then he, picked up the wolf and left and ran to the fence. And then we get the you're a drunk moment, which always happens when somebody explains Herman encounter. Mm-hmm. However, the dude was just with them like all night. They've been in the same room. Yeah. He calls
maybe he's got some binoculars.
Yeah, he must have.
Oh, that's true.
Because he's
also.
Go ahead.
The other thing I was going to say besides this is Fred Gwynn. I mean, that's not a small dog that he's picking up.
No,
that is pretty good size, and he picks it up easily while he's in that crazy costume as well. It's pretty impressive.
Agreed. So after that, we cut to the Munsters. They're at the camp listening to the radio again. Wolf was breaking news. Transylvanian wolf stolen by what Rangers thought was a bear, but now they think it's a man in a mask, stopping all cars on the way out. I'm like, oh, okay. Now we have more conflict as told to us by the radio. But the grandpa's still a damn wolf. He's not changing back. He doesn't know how to. He can't remember. So Eddie's sitting there petting Grandpa. Herman's whatever, Wolf starts to whine, and Grandpa's, how do you know? The wolf whines, and then Herman's like, well, Grandpa, how do I know if the food in the New York Zoo is any good?
Grandpa's accepting his fate. He's like, I'll just go.
So Herman can communicate with the wolf, speaks wolf. Lily speaks wolf. I'm assuming Eddie speaks wolf. Mm-hmm. Right? And so that means Grandpa is in wolf form, fully aware of what's going on and communicating.
Yeah,
makes sense.
It does,
like,
yeah.
and at this point, I'm like, Jesus, I wish we knew what was going on with Spot in Maryland.
Yes,
but we don't.
Nope.
Herman's like, just get in the car and lie down so I can think of some way to get you out of here. And then Eddie has a biscuit for Grandpa, which made me laugh. And then you see Herman. He's clearly plotting and scheming.
Yep. How could this go wrong? Herman's a genius. So
he is. He is the smartest flat-headed monster man alive.
Yep.
Or dead, or whatever he is. So then we see the Rangers. They're checking cars. That's the 50th car we checked. So far, no wolf. Then the Munsters pull up. And then you see Herman. He's got his hat and glasses and hunter's gear on. Lily has a giant wolf shawl yeah. around her shoulders. It's the size of a Transylvanian wolf. Looks like a Transylvanian wolf. Is a Transylvanian wolf. But because it's around her neck, is a shawl. The Rangers like, can we look at the car? And they're like, go right ahead. And the Rangers, they find Eddie. Like, Eddie says, hello. And they're freaked out by Eddie.
And disappears immediately again.
They're like, that's a kid? Well, not quite a wolf. But he does look wolfish at times. They don't see Grandpa anywhere. They didn't look in the casket. They're just like, well, let that go.
That is a prime time, smuggling spot.
Yeah, you'd think, like, what? That could fit a wolf. Nah, we won't look. So they don't see Grandpa anywhere, so they let him go. And we're like, okay, Munsters drive off. But I think Herman says something like, thank you, or something like that, and kind of giggles about it. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Very smug.
Yeah, very smug. Herman's like, I got my genius monster brain has pulled another one off. And then so they're like, oh, you can stop biting your tail, Grandpa. And then he gets down. So Grandpa responds to Grandpa, understands communicate back and forth. He just forgot how to turn back into Grandpa.
Yeah.
He can't say one of those cool like incantation things when he's in wolf form. Yeah.
Can I just say I think I prefer Grandpa like this actually.
As a wolf, me too. Less jerky. So, but then Grandpa starts walking around the front of the car and he starts whining at Herman. And Herman's like, no, I'm not driving too fast. Stop being a front seat driver. Then we come back from the break. And Lily's recapping the episode to Marilyn. Okay. And Marilyn's like, oh, crazy things can happen on a picnic. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You weren't listening to the story at all, were you?
And I guess
a picnic is, let's take a basket and like a blanket and stuff and throw in the car and go. They took electric chair and a coffin and a bunch of tents and everything. So a little bit more than a picnic, Marilyn.
They're gone for multiple days.
Yep, and I guess the Spot thing just was fine.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, oh, we didn't even see Spot. Marilyn doesn't even bring up Spot. Like, oh, Spot got a little gassy, or oh, Spot pooped on the rug and I had to clean it up. No, nothing. So Grandpa is in wolf form and he's sitting in next to Marilyn, and Eddie is petting Grandpa. And Herman comes up from the dungeon, because we're back at the Munster house, with Grandpa's de-wolfing potion.
Of course they have this. Yeah.
I like this because Herman says, I hope it works because he doesn't want to have to take Grandpa out for a walk for the rest of his life. And the wolf whines, and Marilyn goes, well, what did he say? So Marilyn can't speak wolf. Everyone else can.
Nope.
And Herman says, he said, I'll drink to that. So Grandpa gives him the potion, and the wolf drinks it down. And then nothing happens. And Herman's like, well, get on with it, old man. Then Kitty comes in the window. Grandpa sees Kitty, barks, and chases Kitty back out the window. So then Grandpa's chasing Kitty out the window, then into the woodish area. It must be the yard there. It looks wooded. And then Kitty run behind the bush, and Grandpa as a wolf runs behind the bush as well. Kitty runs out on the opposite side of the bush, but then Grandpa changed back behind the bush. Convenient. Well done camera trick. Minimal cut notice, right? It was still obvious that they obviously stopped the camera and restarted it. Right? But Grandpa, he changed back and he runs out from behind the bush on all fours, which was quite the visual.
Weird image, yeah.
Yes. But Grandpa's still chasing on all fours, and then he's like, what am I doing? And then he's right in front of the Munsters' house, luckily, because the Munsters run out. And then Grandpa says, this exchange ruined the episode for me.
Oh, no.
Ruined it. What happened? 1 minute I'm out in the woods, and the next minute I'm here chasing a cat. What?
He doesn't remember?
They had conversation. Yeah. He was in wolf form. They literally just talked about this whole thing. Grandpa had to tell Herman where to go to find the de-wolfing potion. He had to have.
He was excited to drink it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Herman's like, well, let me tell you. And Lily says, like, no, don't tell him. It's too awful. What an awful tale.
Yeah. Had to
and
break
Herman says,
some laws. Yeah.
Let's just say if you try a stunt like this again, your zip code will be the Central Park Zoo. Credits.
Nice.
Now, with the exception of the logistics of, like, we've been talking to you as a wolf this whole time, and now and you're claiming you don't remember anything, that your zip code will be the Central Park Zoo is actually not a bad finishing line.
Yes,
not a bad finishing line.
The best finishing joke I think they have done so far.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes,
the previous 30 seconds sucked all of my ability to laugh out of my body.
That was so dumb. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Why? There's like no plot reason for him to forget.
No.
Like, just have him remember. That's fine.
Like, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
He could have said, oh, thank God. They could have done anything there that said, oh, thank goodness. I thought I was going to be a wolf for the rest of my life. And then Herman could have said, oh, if you were, then your new zip code would have been the Central Park Zoo.
Perfect.
Yep. And that works fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, he has to play dumb. Oh, what happened? I'm so unaware of what happened, even though I was communicating with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and I was really hoping that they had, like, just taken the wrong animal home. Like,
yes,
it wasn't Grandpa the whole time. That was what I was really hoping. Like, Grandpa's he's going to show up at the end and be like, guys, you left me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Exactly what I was hoping for. And I was going to say that is something that kind of bothered me in this episode, was that, like, that wasn't the payoff of.
Mm-hmm.
It was just another wolf that they could speak wolf with.
They're talking to it. They think that they're, or even they just, I guess, think they're conversating with it, and you know, some sort of responses, and they're just saying whatever back. But then, like, when they do, like, they get home and, like,
Grandpa's sitting on the couch reading the paper.
Well, like, or like, no, like when it runs out after the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And they all go run outside. Like, they could show it run by, and, like, Grandpa just standing there, like, when did we get a dog or something like that? Like, Grandpa, where have you been?
I was hoping the wolf was, like, tricking them because he wanted to be free, and he was, like, just playing along with what they were saying. I
didn't think of these twists, and I love that idea. Mm-hmm. I love that it's the wrong wolf. I like the idea of them coming home and, like, okay, let's get Grandpa back into Grandpa form. And then there's Grandpa. You're gonna do what to who now? And he's just sitting there reading the paper.
Yes.
Him and Marilyn playing checkers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I got tired and came home.
The whole thing that they, like, that they kept talking to the wolf. I was like, all right, well, you can't really go with, oh, that's not really Grandpa anymore. You know, or you know, they could do it where they were talking and it's giving an answer and stuff like that, and then it keeps running off. Like, when Grandpa's like, you guys left me, or like that, then he could be like, well, then who was that? And that would be a great ending as well there, I guess. But Terry, I'm glad you and I both thought the same thing on that.
Yeah.
I wish I would
be perfect.
Because even then, it could have been the wolf that Grandpa wouldn't run around with, and Grandpa would have just told him stories.
Yeah,
and then that wolf would have been like, oh, that's a sweet life.
And that just shows you that. Yeah, like the hooligan wolf, you know, that the boys they're always complaining about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, okay, so this wolf's a tricky guy.
That's like a classic sitcom thing, too, where, like, one person tries to pretend to be another person because they think their life is sweet or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That could have worked there. Oh, well.
Oh well, yeah.
Well,
Instead,
that
we're
was
just gonna have amnesia and forget all about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was whack. All right, so that was season 1, episode 16, Grandpa's Call of the Wild. I think we got the gist, but what do you guys think?
Overall, not a horrible episode. I mean, they got to go out of the house and do stuff, and not just like go like looking for Grandpa or some small like little task over to like the neighbor's house or something. Like they go out for a decent amount of time. Now they go to a place where they don't really have to run into very many people, so that it doesn't like really impact like, you know, or like people worrying too much about like seeing Herman out there, you know, walking around, you know, the forest area and stuff like that. But overall, not bad. It's got some good stuff in it here and there, that and a couple like stinker lines and everything, but not awful.
Mm.
Yeah. If you start thinking about the fact that we could have had the like a B storyline of Marilyn and Spot, or that maybe that wasn't Grandpa the whole time type thing, maybe that weakens it a little bit, but not horrible. Also, we just watched Mini Munsters, so low bar.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say. Keep in mind what I'm about to say, that we just watched Mini Munsters last week, so my palate has been like, it's the lowest bar. Just coming back from that, this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far. I thought it was pretty funny. There's actually a lot of jokes in here that made me laugh. The whole like Lily going into the park ranger's office and that's my dad. Like, huh? Oh, that was pretty good. You know, I just like seeing them outside doing something totally different than what we've seen before. This is like a kind of a unique situation, although Grandpa does run away again. So I mean, whatever. That's just gonna happen. I think I've accepted that, but. Yeah,
Herman seems to be a natural in the woods as well. Like, I mean, he can set up the tent easily. He's good at fishing, even if he's not catching actual fish. He's catching a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
I guess more than you would think that just a Frankenstein's monster who works at a funeral parlor would be. He's just like in his element there.
He's having the time of his life. He's giggling to himself. Yeah, like I like seeing Herman in the element, and I like seeing everybody else out here too. So I actually quite like this one. It didn't quite stick the landing though, I would say. Yeah.
No. I did like this episode quite a bit. There were lots of things that that could have ruined it for me. And I think that last, like the amnesia thing, brought it down from being my favorite episode. Because I really enjoy when Herman and the Munsters are trying to do normal things, but Munstered up, right?
Yes.
Like I enjoy those. When it's the other way around, when normal's trying to come into the Munster world, not as much of a fan of. But when Munsters are trying to go into the normal world, that's the stuff I enjoy. So like the school science fair, you know, Herman in the wrestling world was okay. Like out on the town, and then there's Lester. Even the one where Grandpa leaves and they go to that club, I like the club, right? Like I like them in that area in that scenario. So this is that in spades. So I'm cool with this. And they have Herman all dressed up so he doesn't look as grotesque, right? So nobody freaks out when they see him, and they just think it's a big guy with a weird hat and a skin condition, right?
Yeah, and I love it when we get a new like Herman outfit when he like decks out in something totally different. I like that.
Herman pulling the tree out of the ground. Herman doing the crazy 25-minute fishing cast. You know, those things make me chuckle. I like those, and I'm able to like overlook I'm already suspending my disbelief. You know, so the fishing lure landing in the fish pan, fine, right? Like that's a 100%. That's like a Steph Curry from 70 feet. Turning his head and it goes in sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
For a basketball reference, that's 100% what that is. But I'm cool with it, right? All that stuff happens. But then the grandpa, and being a Transylvanian wolf, and the silly radio communique to progress the plot, those sorts of things. Yeah, that's fine, right? It's a dumb sitcom, but Grandpa then being stupid. What happened? I was an old werewolf possessed. Like that means every time he turns into an animal, he doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah,
and he turns into an animal quite a bit.
That's true. So yeah, but he never comes out of it going like, "Huh? What was I doing?" Yeah,
and it's clearly it has to be a conscious effort to turn back out of animal into human form or to grandpa form.
And when he turns into that dog and tries to kill that dude, he's like, "Oh, dang it!"
That would be the time where you'd be like, "What happened?" Like, your attempt at murder failed, right?
Yeah.
No, say he complains about his contacts. How many will do since I started using my contacts?
Mm-hmm. For me, I didn't say lofty 7.6 at the beginning. I think it's mid 7s is about where this one sits right for me, I think. It could have been an 8. It could have really been an 8 if it weren't for those few things. And it would have been a 9 if they would have had the Marilyn spot subplot thrown in there.
Wow.
If they could have figured out how to shoehorn it in, they could have easily trimmed up a lot of the stuff in this episode. Made it a little bit neater, a little bit more smooth. But whatever. We're there. Nice. So what would have broke the babysitter?
I think the fact that they brought the electric chair with she'd been like, "What the fuck are you doing with this?"
Yeah. like I thought the thing was bolted to the ground.
Yeah, like he keeps moving it around too, doesn't he? Because like it's there by itself, but then he moves it by the fire pit at some point, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like this is the weirdest thing for you guys to pack here. She's like, I'm accepting that Eddie sleeps in the coffin, and that anything else that's going on, Herman's able to push all the tent pins in with his hands, his finger, really. But man, you guys brought Grandpa's chair. It's not even a folding chair or something, just electric chair. That's stupid.
Big giant electric chair. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's when she sees Grandpa crawling on all fours, and she just kind of like the imagery there. That just him like in a feral state, like going after a cat, and he was still kind of in that mood. He was still kind of chasing the cat for a bit there. He took him a second to realize he was man again. Yeah. I think she's just like, is that all it takes for Grandpa just to snap and become some sort of feral beast? He just has to be a wolf for a couple days. Like,
yep. Will chase the cat.
Also, another great ending would have been like they show the cat run through there, and then he goes running through there as the dog, and like the other end like pops out with like him like maybe like about to bite into the cat. Like he caught it and is about like as like pinned down, but now he's a guy and he's back to being Grandpa. He's like, what happened? Ooh.
And then the cat claws out his eyes.
Maybe not that far.
Yeah. So I was going to say that visual of Grandpa on all fours running from behind that bush was almost as startling as seeing the like the 30th anniversary of The Exorcist recut with the Reagan crab walk coming down the stairs.
It was.
Yes. It's that same level of like, holy shit. Like, oh my God, it's terrible, horrifying. Or it also ranks up there as an Exorcist 3 when that little old lady's crawling on the ceiling across.
Oh God, yeah.
And that like murder nun goes flying by.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, like those two moments in that movie. That movie not particularly good. Those two moments outstanding.
That's a great film. How dare you?
What's that?
So that's a great film, but that's all right.
Really? I haven't seen it in a long time, and those are the only two things I remember. So maybe it was a good movie, but if that's all I can remember, then it kind of ranks up there as I don't know. But that little lady scuttling across the ceiling, holy shit, I remember seeing that the first time. I was like, almost fell out of my chair. Yeah, so for me, the babysitter breaks when Herman rips the tree out of the ground.
Okay.
Because it's just a sheer display of raw power. Right?
Yeah.
It is, we talked with the mini Munsters, how the guys, you got all this power, just blow up the earth.
Yes.
It's kind of what Herman has the capabilities of doing. Not necessarily blowing up the earth, but just taking control of the earth. Right? Just marching across the globe, destroying. If you can unroot a redwood tree, with your bare hands and then carry it around for the next 3 minutes and then replant it, boy, you got something there.
That's a scary amount of power. Yeah.
So up until then, the babysitter, she's on the camping trip with him.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't she be? She's the damn babysitter. Eddie's there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's there and just off camera, as always, sitting there. And she, Lily says that the gloom, and she's like, okay, Lily, we get it. But then Herman's like, I'll fix it. And he rips that tree out of the ground. And that's the moment where she became frightened of Herman. Up until then, she's just like, oh, he's a lovable oaf, big guy. Looks like a Frankenstein's monster. I'm cool with him. But the moment he did that, that is just such an intense, raw display of earth-destroying capabilities.
The sheer casualness of it, too.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
yeah, and he doesn't even break a sweat.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And he does it in such a way that's gentle enough to not even disturb the birds in the trees.
You're right. Wow, he's got such control over it.
He's got real control. You'd think like it would be like a real effort to get it out, and then you'd have a hard time keeping it upright. Not him. Because he's holding it at the bottom 1% of the tree. That means 99% of that tree's weight is coming straight up, and he's able to keep it perpendicular.
Mm-hmm.
Just devastating.
Yeah. The more I think about it, it might start breaking my mind a little bit. I don't like thinking about that.
Yep. Oh, well, there it is. Season 1, Episode 16, Grandpa's Call of the Wild. The first episode from 1965. Oh, man. And it starts the new half decade off on the right foot, in my opinion.
Yeah. Starts off strong.
We are best episode of the year that year.
Yep,
yeah,
so
for
so
sure.
far.
At the top, it's like when a movie comes out on January 3, and it's some shitty action movie that just got pushed back. They're like, best movie of the year. And like, well, the year's 3 days old, you piece of shit. You're doing that on purpose. And I don't even think it's tongue-in-cheek. I think you're being literally, like very intentional with that.
Mm-hmm. Tricky, yeah.
So Keith's right. Best Munsters episode of the 1965 year so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we're also at the geographical center point of the first season. So good news. We're in Kansas.
Yep. Well, there's a Kansas City wolf. You see him running by, or it's a police dog, whatever it was.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, I wonder if they knew that when they were thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
This
I think
is the
they were.
geographical center of the season.
I think that's why they
like
brought
a
it
Kansas
up.
City reference.
It makes that joke a lot more. Yeah, it makes more sense now.
All right. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
What kind of interesting, fun stuff you got for the people that are clamoring for more Keith?
Oh boy. Well, obviously the Pop-Up Filmcast summer tour is continuing on, and also starting July 4th. That was great, wasn't it? Is back with a quick summer run. We are celebrating America the best way we can. Monster trucks, Bigfoot and the Monster Machines. Chris Green is joining me for the entire run of that series. So check that out.
Now, can I say when you started to say when you said Chris Green, I thought you were going to say Chris Kringle for some reason. And I was like, oh, you got Santa joining you? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's month off in the summer, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's July. It's Christmas in July. I can't be taking that month off.
Well, only at Kohl's.
Yeah, he's not as busy. He's not nearly as busy in July. So.
Yeah. But he's got plenty of time to talk about Bigfoot and the monster and some madness or whatever it is. All right. Well, that sounds great. I really wish it was Chris Kringle. Nothing against Toph. I love Toph, but man, Chris Kringle is a hard left that I would not have expected.
Maybe the next summer season of that was great.
Yeah.
All right, Terry, what do you got on tap?
Well, I'm still doing Run the Reel, the movie podcast. I believe we are actually going to be talking about Akira Kurosawa. I think I've said that a couple times, but I think those episodes are finally going to be starting to come out.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going to be exciting. Doing Seven Samurai. We do a movie called Dreams. That's from like 1990, one of his later movies. Kind of weird, but interesting to see. It's a pretty big jump from the 50s to the 90s. So.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah. Do all sorts of stuff with the series, so yeah, check it out if you're interested. It's been a pretty fun series so far.
Wow, there you go. Tune in your old radio. You're like, I'm surprised I get any.
Yes,
like it's a radio. It's not like it's not a cell phone, right? Radio waves go pretty far. Eddie. But yeah, you tune in. Like, welcome to Run the Reel.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Run the Reels, depending on which universe you're in.
Oh, yeah. The dark universe.
The dark universe. The dark podcast universe. Ugh, where Joe Rogan is polite and helpful. And Run the Reel is Run the Reels. All right. And then for me, I'll give you a guess. Starts with an N, ends with a G, and has a big uthin in the middle. Nothing. And that's fine. I like it that way.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, I mean, you got so much on your plate with these Munsters, you know, like
yeah, and the Munsters just consume so much of my life. I spent way too much time doing AI generated Munster art.
Oh God, yeah.
For what reason? I don't even. There's a point where I'm like, why did I type in Herman Munster? Well, hold on. Why? I can't remember what her name is now. Why did I type in Herman Munster kissing Morticia Addams? Why did I type that in? I did. I wanted to do it just to see what it would come up with. Nothing good. But then I typed in Joe Buck kissing Troy Aikman, and that made me laugh. Because
there's a lot of kissing in these.
Yeah, well, I got on a kick. I'd see something else that somebody would post on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I need to come up with these weird combinations of people doing things. And I always thought that there was a lot of tension between Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. So I got it produced one good one, but I had nothing worth sharing.
All right.
Yeah,
I like the one of Herman riding the horse. That was
it's got like 4 heads. I'm like, oh, it's like it's like a depiction of the angel from the Book of Revelations.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
not Munster related, but I also enjoyed your Golden Girls as Jedi.
Gold Girls as Jedi.
Yeah,
I think the best thing about those are the thumbs, because when you look at the thumb, you're like, boy, that looks exactly what I wanted. And when you zoom in, it's like this ghostly image of like hollowed out eyes and like. It looks like a mouth like in various states of decay, and the lips are peeling back and teeth are exposed. And you're like, what horrific Guillermo del Toro creature have I conjured up? But yeah. Anyway, way too much time doing that this last week. And it almost made me forget that we gotta like close this episode out with words.
Oh,
ingenuity.
Yeah. Intelligence.
No.
Oh,
no.
God.
Wait, what? Are you serious? It's not intelligence next?
No.
Oh, imagination. There you go.
Imagination. Intelligence is the last thing that matters.
Yeah, not for me.
They do not work. They have no dominion over us because we are the Munster Hunters, and it is
always hunting season.
Everybody knows in the second life we all come back sooner or later. As anything from a pussy cat to a man-eating alligator. Well, you all may think my story is more fiction than it's fact. But believe it or not, my mother did decided she'd come back as a call. She's a very own guiding star, a 1928 Ford. My mother did. She helps me through everything I do, and I'm so glad she's here. My mother, the car.